All right, and welcome back to another episode of DeathStryke Media's Force Friday show. I just got accosted by my microphone. Anyway, if you notice, we're not in our normal studio space. We're actually at Dragon Slayer Comic Book and Fantasy. We're filming here because I asked permission to be here. And they said, by all means, come on in. And just want to say thank you guys to Dragon Slayer.
Absolutely.
It's a wonderful, wonderful comic shop. Support your local comic book stores.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for the new subscribers. Thank you for the old subscribers. And what happens here on the Force Friday show is we've got some Star Wars topics, and we simply run them down and talk about them and have some fun along the way. And first up on the docket, we got some Han Solo news. We have Donald Glover talking to THR about his meeting with Billy Dee Williams that happened a couple of months ago, as we kind of covered. And I think we had some cool shots with the old cast and new cast coming together periodically throughout the early filmings of Han Solo. And Donald Glover mentioned to THR that in that meeting, he sort of was like rumbling around, talking his head off, being just a blabbermouth about where Lando maybe came from, his background, how he's going to grow, how he's going to progress, and how he ends up being the Lando that we know. Now, after him spilling all of his beans and, you know, telling it like, hey, I want to do this with the character, Billy Dee had the wonderful one-liner of saying, well, what was it? It was that, to be honest, I don't know exactly what happened. No, that's not it. I hate reading quotes.
Okay. All right, guys. So the actual quote is, Billy Dee in his usual fashion just basically said, yeah, I don't know about all that. Just be charming. Which is quintessential, you know. The main issue is you got two actors here that are from two different schools of thought. You got the traditional actor, Billy Dee Williams, which is just give me the role and I'll do it. And then you probably have the younger gentleman who's more of a method actor going into all his background.
Yeah, Billy Dee Williams is definitely the more old school way of acting versus the new Donald Glover. Much more, you know, thinks about his characters, gets into characters, and where they're coming from. You know, I like that. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of strengths, but
yeah.
You know, it's also something like, you know, when you see Empire, was Billy Dee Williams actually acting?
No, he was just himself.
He was just himself.
Yeah.
So moving on.
Yeah.
But there was also the issue attached to that with young Glover talking about what was going on the set.
Very true. Yeah, he did go on to talk about the firing of Lord Miller and the hiring of Ron Howard. Now he did. He wasn't too, I guess, in the know when it comes to the stuff going on about that. He did say, I don't know exactly what happened. I feel like I was the baby in the divorce of the youngest child. The oldest child was like, we know what's happening, but we're going to keep you at it. So with that knowledge, I think he knows more than he wants to say, and good for him for doing that. It's really none of our business.
Right.
It does make for good Star Wars talk, and it makes for a good show. But are you looking forward to knowing that the time and effort that Donald Glover put into learning about Lando and trying to get input from the original Lando about seeing that Lando on screen, which they think is?
Yeah, it'd be curious to see what all he thought Lando had been through. And maybe they can talk to him about a Lando prequel comic at some point, because a lot of Marvel's comic sales have I don't want to say depended on, but it definitely benefited from their connection to Star Wars. So
yeah.
They
keep relaunching different series of Star Wars comics, and we're not doing Lando one.
Yeah, so get the Donald Glover in on that one, but. Sean kind of jogged my memory because I think that definitely is an old school actor thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's the old line where James Cagney said, "If you just look the other guy in the face and you tell the truth, you're home free."
Pretty much.
Like just treat your lines like they are they are the truth. And of course, Billy Dee famously was in Batman '89 with Jack Nicholson. I know Jack gave Michael Keaton some advice on that role specifically, which could apply to Lando as well, given the wardrobe that he's going to have in this new movie. And Jack just told Keaton, just be the suit, man. Just be the suit.
Yeah, I always forget that Billy Dee was in Batman.
Harvey Dent.
And, you know, come to think of it, it's like, I don't think he was acting. I think he was just being Billy Dee at the time.
I think once again, he's been such an established actor.
Yeah.
And he has such a big history. When people find out that he signs onto a project, they're like, or just change his lines.
Well, how would Billy Dee actually say this, not the character?
You know,
I get that.
I always use the Clint Eastwood or John Wayne argument where later in their career, they just started, okay, it's just make John Wayne's in it. Okay, the character's name is John.
Yeah.
We'll keep it straight because,
Exactly.
for various reasons, sometimes like John Wayne showing up drunk, at least they do, his name.
That's saying something. I know Billy Dee is up there with like the king of cool. I know he does his Star Wars show at Celebration. It's I can't remember the name of it. It's like the king of cool or Billy Dee Williams. I can't remember, but it's always how slick and cool he actually is in real life and how he portrays Lando. So yeah, I think that's great.
And then moving on to the second part of this soundtrack, I'm one of these people that do like to know the nitty gritty of a film.
Yeah.
But 5 years after.
Yeah, wait for the book.
Yeah,
wait for the book.
I want to have I want to have a period where I don't want someone going, well, you do know that they refuted on. No, just give me a couple of years.
Yeah.
Let me rewatch it a few times. Then I will seek out the little nuts and bolts of what happened behind the scenes. I love that on like TMC and A&E when they used to do the classic movies and they'd have the commentator fill in all the backstory.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. But that was like decades after the film, so I had
Or like maybe somewhere, like some years from now, there's going to be a photo of Lord and Miller in a very heated argument with Lawrence Kasdan, and one of them's got their finger in the other's face or something.
If that's the case and someone did pick up a fight with Lawrence Kasdan, they're going to be out regardless. Like you can't do that to someone who helped write the original trilogy. You just can't. I mean, it's up there with like Star Wars royalty. It's like with Carrie Fisher or Mark Hamill.
Right.
I know Mark Hamill's a great actor. He will adapt to what the role is for this new Luke.
Not that I'm alluding that there is a photograph of that happening, just that
if there is.
If there was a lot of drama, maybe something like that could have happened. I can imagine something like that happening.
Yeah, and that's fun stuff to know later down the road.
Exactly.
We don't need to know about the nitty gritty currently, just because it's not worth it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just give us the film.
that'll ruin
the film.
the actors, that'll ruin the producers.
Have it
that'll
come out
ruin
after the film.
Yeah.
Long after the film.
Yeah, long after. Give us a little time.
Yeah, write a nice thick book in 20 years and we'll all buy it. Kind of like what Carrie Fisher did with like the Princess Diaries or the it was a Postcard from the Edge.
Postcard from the Edge.
She wrote about her life years later. Let's keep it in that vein of things. And keeping in that vein of things, Star Wars. Entertainment Weekly actually today released I won't call it annual, but it seems annual because we get a Star Wars film a year. They released their Star Wars Episode 8 article or their issue, covering tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff. In fact, the next couple of stories are from these said article. But we're going to start off with the couple of new pictures that came out. Some of them we've seen before, and if you've seen the behind-the-scenes stuff, some of those images are in the behind-the-scenes, so nothing new there. However, there's a couple of new images. We get to see Cantino bite from the outside for the first time, which is very cool. We get to see porgs. If you're not familiar with porgs, we'll get to them later. You also get to see the nuns, or I don't know if they're actual nuns, but space nuns. I don't know. And Kylo Ren's migrating scar, an ever-changing scar.
I just right upon hearing that, I have to make the plug. Nuns in space.
We're going to trademark that, just for the record. We're going to trademark that.
He's not far from the truth, mind you. But buried within all of these pictures and all of these articles comes to me the most fascinating little nitbit coming from Mark Hamill himself. And coming from Mark Hamill, he actually comes out and says he says Luke actually believes or thinks that Kylo Ren is the chosen one. He understands. I'd imagine he understands the lore that it was Anakin, and then it was Vader, and then it was him, and now it's going to be Kylo Ren, who formerly Ben Solo. And Luke feels all the fault and the guilt, and for all the tragedy that happened because of Ben Solo or Kylo Ren, and that's why he's in exile and having to deal with all of that because he thinks it's his fault. Now that's very interesting to me because I thought we were done with the Chosen One theories or stuff back in the prequels, and I understand that Luke maybe for some was a balance for the Force because you had Vader, you had Palpatine, and then you had Luke. He was the light side versus the dark side, and then Vader turns to the light side at the very end by throwing Palpatine off of a railing. There's lots of railings in Star Wars, but I don't know how I quite feel about it. I think it's intriguing. I think it's worth exploring and worth speculating about, or else we wouldn't have a job here doing this. But I'm going to kick it down to Sean. What do you think about hearing a new Chosen One theory? And what do you think it means for the trilogy going forward?
I think it's very interesting the fact that, one, I always felt the reason why Luke wasn't around is because he felt that there was a failure in his training.
Right.
I always, that, just when I first saw the first trailer, where's Luke? The whole, like, where's Luke? It obviously was relating back to that training aspect, failing his student, failing everyone else. As for Kylo Ren being the chosen one, that's kind of interesting to me because, of course, I grew up with these storylines that Luke was the chosen one,
right? And
then they revisited it, or was it Vader? Because he was the one that had the biggest story arc from light to dark, then back to the light, and so then he technically bring balance to the Force,
Right.
So now that Kylo Ren is the chosen one, makes you really re-examine what is the chosen one, number one, and number two, is there a chosen one every generation?
That's a good point. Maybe the Force is always trying to tell, maybe other Force users or everybody is like, there's got to be balance, and if it's unbalanced, it'll produce, if you will, a new chosen one or a new person who's extremely, Force sensitive or Force gifted. So that's a good theory. I never thought about that. More for the ponder on. How about you?
I don't know. I had a mixed reaction when I first read this because I saw that line from Mark Hamill, and then at first I just glossed over it because I was just going to focus on the other stuff that popped up in the article.
Right.
But the more I thought about it, the more I was kind of down on it. Like another plot line involving the chosen one. I mean, been there, done that. Ain't nobody got time for that. but
we always have time to go back to Jakku.
Apparently so. They must have really good resorts there.
I gotta have it.
Well, I mean, maybe he'll turn this whole thing around and he'll think Rey can become the chosen one, and she's from Jakku. So maybe it all ties into Jakku.
Maybe it ties back into Jakku.
I don't know.
But in the Aftermath series, there is a huge portion of that book that does involve around Jakku. So, and that's a three-book arc. So who knows?
You do love your books.
I do love my books.
Please read.
Please read.
Reading is good.
Yeah.
Please read. All right.
But going back to the whole chosen one thing, I don't know. I'm just tired of that plot line. And even if you I don't mind that it came from the prequels because I think I'm kind of like you. I'm generally down on the prequels, but they're not as bad as people say they are.
I think so.
I think they get kind of a bad rap a lot of the time. So I don't mind that they're bringing back something that started in the prequels. It's just that in episode 3, you did have that line from Yoda saying, "A prophecy misread might have been."
Correct.
So I thought the whole chosen one thing might have been bogus.
Yeah, or he also does say another there is. Maybe he wasn't talking about Luke's sister or Leia. Maybe he was talking about something else. Maybe they're talking about Snoke. Maybe there's another Force sensitive person, like big Force sensitive person out there. So there's always going to be balance to the Force. That is a Star Wars sort of shtick. There has to be balance, and that's true in life too. Like you have to have balance to be at peace. We get that. That's fine, unless you're just grumpy like Sean, which is completely fine too. But keeping in that same thing, the Chosen One thing, I think they should just move away from it. I think they should evolve the story further along, because how more can we tell the story of the Chosen One? We had the prequels that were based off of the original 3, which was Luke being, he didn't know he was a Chosen One until much later. Like that wasn't part of the original story. Like moving forward, that became the story. The prequels were all said about the Skywalkers becoming the Chosen One. That seems to be a generational thing in the Skywalkers, right? Because maybe Rey's a Skywalker. This is how they're going to tell us. Maybe she's the Chosen One actually, and not Rey. But they should just knock it off with the Chosen One. We get it. No one liked it from the first time. No one's really gonna, unless they spin it right. And I trust Rian Johnson to tell a good story. So we'll see what happens.
Just to revisit that and maybe put a final nail in it. There are plenty of series right now dealing with the whole issue of the Chosen One.
Exactly.
And Star Wars did it first. Just for the record, guys, they were doing it first in major media. But there's almost like a Chosen One fatigue.
Yeah.
It's like there's some series, and I'm not naming names, it's like, this is the Chosen One. No, this one is the Chosen One.
Right.
This one's the Chosen One. It's like, I'm going to just shoot all of you with a head.
And be done with it.
Make sure I got the Chosen One.
Yeah. We'll just wipe out your whole family and then we're done with it.
Yeah. Well, like going back to high school, man, we had the prequel trilogy and we had the Matrix sequels come out.
Yeah.
And the first one, that whole trilogy, and they were both dealing with
the Chosen One. Yeah.
The one.
Just
put it down.
There's only one Matrix.
Down.
So maybe there'll be a crossover between Matrix and Star Wars, and we'll have Neo like bending lightsabers.
I don't know if Ben Solo can stop a bolt.
Yeah, well, that whole thing is actually very interesting because that's the second time we've seen that. First time we've seen that particular thing. We've seen Darth Vader deflect a blaster bolt from Han Solo.
Right.
We've never actually seen someone use the Force and stop an actual blaster bolt. However, in old canon and Legends, very, very powerful Jedi, as I said, could actually grab lightsabers with their hands, with the ignited blades, and bend them. That was part of their because kyber crystals are part of the Force, and they can actually bend and manipulate the Force via Force power, or whatever that power is called.
Mm.
So maybe they're adapting more things from the Legends series into the new films. That would be cool too. I'm good with that. We always need more lore. So, but keeping with more lore, we're going to move it on to a little actress that had a little teeny tiny role in The Force Awakens. I think her name is Daisy Ridley. I think that's her name. If that's not right, then it's right. It's right.
In the comments.
Are you sure her name wasn't Delia Ripley?
That might be it, but I think it's Daisy Ridley.
Okay.
Yeah. But with that being said, we get to, also within this EW article, we get to kind of see what's going on inside of Rey's head as soon as we sort of meet Luke Skywalker for the first time in The Force Awakens. And I'm going to let you over there take these quotes since I apparently can't read quotes to save my life today.
Okay, there we go. Get my place here.
Yeah, further reading in the Entertainment Weekly article, we get a glimpse of Rey's expectations and disappointments in the meeting of the famous Luke Skywalker, and a few quotes from Daisy Ridley about the meeting. She says,
"She's so hopeful to everything," Ridley said. And obviously there's a hint of, what the hell? I love that line. I hope that line is in the movie.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised because I know that they have a lot of fun. They do a lot of they don't do a lot of improvisations or improv on set, but I would imagine that sometimes they can sort of sneak things in there
I hope so.
every now and again. But we have to notice this is a Disney movie. It's probably going to be the PG to PG-13, one or the other. So I doubt it, but I'd hope so. Maybe it'd be like an outtake reel.
Hopefully.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, I definitely would love to see that.
That would be very, very good as well. But she also goes on to say some other things about meeting Luke Skywalker and losing the only father figure she's had in her life, besides on-car plots. And you have the quote. What does it say?
Yeah, it's like Rey. Okay, Luke's brush off makes Rey miss the gruff warmth of Han Solo, Ridley says, giving us a peek inside the head of her character. Quote, "Oh my God, this other man that I lost within a couple of days was somewhat of a father figure. Now he's gone, and instead I'm with this grumpy guy on an island who doesn't want me here. I don't think one girl who he doesn't know turning up with a lightsaber is going to make him go, oh, shit, yeah, of course, I'll get back into action."
Yeah, and that's kind of how I felt like right when they left us on that island and Otsu, and we see Luke. He looked like zero F's given. He's like, you're done. He's like, what are you doing on my island? Get off my lawn. He's sort of like,
yeah. Okay, that'll be a.
Oh yeah, I mean, name a famous like "get off my lawn" or "get out of here" quote from any famous actor, and that's exactly what I felt like. Luke was like, he's like, no, we're done here. You get off my rock, go home, get on the little Falcon and go away.
I think,
Get the Rolling Stones. Hey, you, get off of my cloud.
but I was going to say,
well done.
Thank you. Ridley expresses the what the hell look in her face.
Yeah.
She's just holding it out there like, hey, I just crossed the known galaxy looking for you.
Yeah.
I may know some of your friends that you know are now dead. Here's this pivot point in the universe. And I just have this image. I have, what really happens is Luke just goes, get off my island and walks away.
Yeah, or I can, and then ultimately I can see him going, nope, and just walks away. Nope, not today.
And that's when you break out the, what the hell?
Exactly.
See that, or he gets one over on her. It's like, I'm sorry, who are you looking for?
Luke, who?
Like Yoda, great warrior, right? You're looking for a great warrior, right?
Found somebody,
Right.
Totally does a whole Yoda. Found somebody, yes.
Yeah, a Hamill could pull off a voice,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that'd throw everybody into stitches right there.
They totally would. If he doesn't quote Yoda at some point on this island, they're missing a key opportunity just to make the audience who can appreciate his movie go, yeah, that's right. Someone told him that once. I get that. That's right.
Well, of course, said a while back they should also do an allusion to the H. John Benjamin Yoda that we got from the Family Guy movies, and maybe have Luke do a. Well, I'm not Luke. All right.
All right. You got me.
Yeah, that would be interesting too. But I feel like they need to have a serious outtake reel for this whole scene, that the first meeting scene, just because there's such a strong comedic element. If you do it right, maybe he can break into the Joker voice.
Yes, please.
That would be hilarious.
Oh, that once again puts you in stitches. But I just had this image of there's a YouTube channel out there that's really great called Bad Lip Reading.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No matter what he says, you could put so many things.
Yeah, they had a couple of Star Wars ones up there too. That's very good. One Seagulls is the best one with Yoda. Go check it out. We'll link it in the description. But if you haven't seen it, you're under a rock. But
But I don't know. My own serious take on this is that I got a different interpretation watching that last scene in The Force Awakens. I thought there was a hint of him caring when he was doing all of his silent facial expressions.
Yeah. There's $1 million for 15 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're right. Toward the end, there was this kind of hint of I don't know. But before that, he's like, "Oh, you're here.
You found me.
You found me.
I was supposed to be unfindable.
Yeah.
But I left a map.
But you left a map in your favorite droid. You left the map."
But the key thing for me, however, then we can move on, is that I want to know if she's the one who's going to break the news that Han Solo is dead, or if
I think he already knows.
See, that's what I'm thinking. It's and if that is the case, and he knows because Force, dude, get off your island and do something.
Yeah, that's correct. But I think he does feel guilty. I think where he's coming from in this aspect is he's done enough damage as a Jedi, quote Jedi. He does say the Jedi it's time to end. So maybe he doesn't identify I hate using that. He doesn't identify as a Jedi. He's a fucking Jedi. But maybe he does think he's caused enough damage in the galaxy that any interference with him would just cause more havoc. Because there are people looking for him, it would cause more destruction. Therefore, he's like, I'm going to sit on my rock and drink some Coors Light.
It's also the fact that he may see that he's done this, a lot of damage or failure with training with Kylo Ren. But it's also the fact that anyone who's a Star Wars geek knows that Luke Skywalker towards this period of his life is incredibly powerful.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the most powerful Jedi ever.
So he may be actually not even focusing on those other aspects. He may be paralyzed literally by power. The fact that he cannot see all the ramifications of any action he takes. So the only action he can take in confidence is
nothing.
I
didn't think about it that way, but I think you're absolutely right. That's a very good argument of maybe that's why he doesn't do anything. He just hangs out with a bunch of space nuns on a rock, and maybe eats porks. I don't know.
Goes fishing.
Yeah.
Or as Jeff Bridges said in another Disney property called Tron Legacy,
oh God.
This is his game. And sometimes the only way to win the game is not to play.
Why are you even quoting that movie?
I like that movie.
Okay.
Yes.
Get off my panel. I'm just kidding. It's an okay movie. It wasn't great. It was enjoyable.
It was enjoyable. Plus, you got to remember, there's still a heritage of the groundbreaking film that was original.
Also, Jeff Bridges is just playing the dude for the whole movie, man.
That's right. You have a very good point. You have a very good point.
Billy Dee Williams.
Messing with my Zen thing, man.
I love it.
Yeah.
But we actually gonna have change gears from the Rey and Skywalker storyline. We have Snoke news. Contrary to my predictions of Snoke being a super teeny tiny little alien who's greased up and flying around a little teeny tiny spaceship going, yeah, pretty candy. He's not. He's actually going to be a much larger presence. He's going to be entirely CG and mocap, according to Rian Johnson. He does come out and say that it's going to be entirely mocap and CG work. Industrial Light and Magic use their renderings, but Snoke will be entirely CG. So although it'll be mocap for action.
Mocap for action.
Yeah, that's the second time. Anyway, it'll be mocap for action. It will be entirely CG, which is completely fine. I'm okay with that because they did a lot of good stuff with CG, although practical effects is best. But people give a lot of what are the ones in Force Awakens? Not Rathtars. Yeah, no, the ones. Yeah. Anyway,
Those
were
guys.
Yeah, they were CG. They weren't terrible, but you could tell they were CG.
Right.
But they were fun. They were new. They were exciting. If they could pull it and make it better, maybe they do like do with apes, right? Because Andy Serkis is working on a lot of this. I know he's really good at mocap, so maybe they can map
That's
a
the
lot.
thing, yeah.
They can map a lot. Maybe not his facial features, but his movements, make it more realistic. So I have nothing but faith in Island, and of course, and Ryan Johnson saying that it is a CG creation. But what are your thoughts on a CG creation and not a puppet version of Snoke?
I am normally the guy who always says it's better to go with practical effects, or if possible, like a hybrid where you have most of the suit in traditional effects and then some green patches here and there just to add some special effects in post-production.
Right.
So, I don't know. I feel like there was one photo on the Entertainment Weekly profile where they had what looked like a Snoke head back there, which I think was the model or mock-up that Ryan Johnson was referring to.
Yeah, he did say there was a couple of mock-up creatures.
Yeah. Which is great because then like he said, I think that means you're giving the actors something to act against.
Right. I do have a hard time saying that it's all going to be completely CG if they spent this money on what we talked about a couple months ago, like a 4 to 6 person puppet suit. So, your thoughts on hearing that this might be an all CG character?
I have my doubts just for the fact of all the money they would have went into making this Marquette puppet thing, and also the size of it was another consideration. You go, wait a minute, that's a lot of money to spend on something like that.
Right. You get, especially with something you can like use a broomstick for, like
or a tennis ball.
Yeah.
It's like the
old. That's the old days.
Those are the old days.
Like in episode 2, they had to have Christopher Lee act against something, and they drew like a vampire Dracula formation on the tennis ball he had to look at.
Yeah.
And of course, he had famously played Dracula. That was George Lucas's way of messing with him, and he just kind of looked at him and said, "Really, George?"
Yeah, that was one man he didn't mess with for other stories.
Yeah.
Other stories. But no, I don't buy it, and I think it's going to be something that's going to come out later.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's part of that stuff that's on the, Force Awakens 10 years later anniversary, package thing.
Yeah, it'll be like a highlight reel later on.
And it's the fact that a lot of actors, quite frankly, are only effective if they have something to emote against, no matter how good your CGI is.
That's true.
If you remember Kong with Andy Serkis and Naomi Watts, I think it was, they had to interact together just so they could get the responses correct.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't really get away from the emoting that is required for really great acting.
So some of the great actors, classic actors, could do that. That's how they were kind of work. That's how they could work. But you do get better performances if you're acting with somebody, or even if you have a tennis ball to look at, you have something to focus on. So
I don't buy it.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I still think Snoke is going to be this big, greased up, flying around a little spaceship going,
I'm going to stick with my theory is that he's actually, has like issues, and that's why he's always projected large.
Yeah, he's small. He's small.
Small alien.
Yep.
I would say he's a small alien.
Real quick, favorite Snoke theory?
I don't have one.
I knew it. Newest one.
What's your newest one?
Kanan.
Yes, we talked about this off air last time. So if you haven't heard, Kanan is now in the mix for who is Snoke. Now, I don't buy it. I get it that he's been around for a while, and you see the Empire rise. I don't know if he's going to see it fall, though. That's the thing, because he might not make it out of Rebels. I don't think he can. If he can, he could probably maybe fall to the dark side somewhere else. I don't know. But I still like the old theory that it's Mace Windu.
Yeah.
I like that one because I want to see Samuel L. Jackson back in it, just because I thought he was a fun Jedi. He was a Jedi that gave no F's. So
a Sith Lord.
Exactly. But to the credit though, I prefer having Sam Jackson actually in a Star Wars book or in a Star Wars movie versus hearing a voice actor portray Sam Jackson's voice in a book. No begrudge to anyone doing this in the Star Wars books on Audible, but you're making him sound too Southern. It's just not working.
Yeah.
It was good.
Just watch Django Unchained before going into that.
I guess, yeah. I mean, just because he's Sam Jackson doesn't mean he's always the same Sam Jackson, even though he usually is the same Sam Jackson. But he has nuances.
I just have this issue of what do you say anything, the fact that he's playing a white character.
I don't think he'd have a problem.
No, it's just funny to me, Snoke being so white.
Yeah.
Just,
Snoke's so white.
Why gotta be white now?
Well, I don't know. It's like Oscars so white, So, no.
Yeah, we saved the speaking of movie, we saved the best story for the last story, the best story for the
We
last.
saved the best for last.
Best for last.
I'm rattled today. People keep walking in and interrupting.
Yeah.
Apparently I'm a one-track mind. That's fine. But yes, save the best for last. We have caretakers. Yes, we do, and that's fine. There was confusion earlier. We saved porgs for last. Now, if you're unfamiliar with porgs, we have a quick description. Porgs are a new alien. They're actually a native of Ox-2. They are penguin-type characters, almost look like puffins.
Mm-hmm.
They are actually, I think, inspired by puffins who actually inhabit the island of, Skellig Michael Island in the winter or fall. That is their nesting ground. So without a doubt, I have no doubt in my mind that Brian Johnson's like, we got to get these guys in this movie somehow. And we don't want to use real ones because that'd just be cruel and unusual. But the reason that they added, not only for the aesthetic purpose that is Act 2, and that is Skellig Michael Island, the natives were like, where's the penguins?
All right.
But they actually added them into this because Rian Johnson didn't want to have Luke by himself in isolation. He wanted him to have something to interact with or have something around. So, if you're in complete isolation, you will kind of go crazy because there's nothing to do, nothing to watch, nothing to see, nothing changes, no movement. Kind of like where Yoda went to Dagobah, you had a bunch of wildlife everywhere. You had snakes, and you had frogs, and you had whatever that was in that swamp eating the X-Wing or R2. So there was stuff around, right? So I get why they want to do it. It's cute, it's cuddly. I do feel that they might be the new Jar Jar Binks of the series, but we'll get into that. But another one that we want to get into is, of course, something mentioned earlier, which is these space nuns. Now, these creatures have, I don't think they have a name yet, but they're a new alien that are also native to Octu. And they're actually like a bird, fish type alien that do have their own language, and they can communicate to Luke. But their language is much more of a blurby sort of Scottish fish talk. Now I'm very excited to hear this because when we have aliens, especially in the prequels, of these new aliens like from the Trade Federation, they had that horrible, racist. I wouldn't call it racist. It probably was borderline racist, like horrible Asian accent. And if you watch the fan cuts or fan edits, they actually take that track out and overlay some alien gibberish, which makes the movie 20 times better because it gets rid of, I know two of them. It gets rid of that entirely, and it's now some random alien language, which works very well. They do subtitle, so it works.
Well, yeah, that actually would make sense. You're hearing a foreign language.
Exactly.
Why would they be speaking?
Just because Jedi can speak it and understand doesn't mean the audience can. But hearing that they do have a blurry sort of Scottish fish talk, I'm very excited to see that because Scottish language fluctuates where you are in Scotland. And so if it's a very heavy Scottish accent, it could be very interesting. Or if it's a Gaelic accent or Gaelic speak, would be. And in fact, it maybe sounds bubbly like a fish. That to me that just breathes alien. But they also, Rian Johnson did say they do not like Luke Skywalker hanging around their island, and they just tolerate him being there. Now, hearing that these alien species is space nuns, they do look like space nuns in the picture. They look like they're nuns.
Wearing habits.
Yeah, they kind of look like manatees.
A little bit. They're fish things.
Yeah.
Birds. Weird things. Anyway, hearing that these creatures only tolerate his presence, what did Luke Skywalker do to piss these little ladies off? Sean, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, he's a man. That would be my.
They're also all women. I didn't mention that. Yes, this whole species is all women.
Yeah, so they're something else. But it's also the fact that this is, if they are like what we call space nuns, and I have to address something. I've been biting my tongue on the issue. Since we have these like porg things, I kept thinking of Muppets, pigs in space, and like porgs in space.
Yeah, they're not CG. They are puppets, but they're very excellent animatronic puppets. Like they have skeletons and their eyes move and they can blink and their mouths can move. They're crazy puppets.
But back to the nun things, convents, nuns, monasteries and all that, they're supposed to be places of refuge that you break away from the outside world. So out of the blue comes this guy with a space fighter and just lands and goes, hey guys, we're going to kick it on this rock here for a while.
You don't mind, do you?
Why wouldn't they?
You got any wine?
Yeah. Why wouldn't they be upset?
Yeah.
Kind of funny to think of Luke as a moocher.
Yeah, I kind of see it in very similar circumstances where like he finds he is aware of Octu, which is the first Jedi temple, and now you have these space nuns. Maybe they're like on the same vein as the Guardians of the Wills, the Guardian temples, but they're much more like civilianized and much more religious. So maybe they're part of the religious aspect of the Force.
Much more distant.
Yeah, exactly. They're not Force sensitive. They worship the Force, or however that works. Not that I'm saying it's wrong, because I don't understand it.
Well, brief sidetrack. In Force Awakens, the Max von Sydow character, wasn't he part of some like order that
Yes.
kind of worshipped the Force?
Yeah, on the same lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
So even in Rogue One, you had the Guardians of the Wills. I know that was a huge throwback to Lucas's first thought on the Jedi and where they came from. But a lot of the temple guards of that particular part of the story were not Jedi. They were just the protectors of the Force. So maybe along a mixture of both, perhaps. A good compromise. There are 1,000 different species, or 1 million different species, and 1 million different planets in this universe. So, like any religion, it breaks off and branches off and splits off and merges over here. So, there's lots of ways that could be intertwined.
Especially over the length of time you're talking about.
Exactly. The Force has been around forever, and then you have this one species that's been there for at least 1,000 years. So, we will see. But again, back to having Luke not just being tolerated by these nuns. Your thoughts?
Yeah. We were talking before the show. Like I feel like he had to have some kind of line to tell on the nuns when he got there. And I had a flashback to the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, which is odd for me. That's normally your thing.
Yeah.
But I just kind of imagine him landing on the planet, awkwardly looking at the nuns, and then saying, "Han Solo sent me here to pay his debt."
To settle it then.
Thank you.
Settle it down.
I may not be able to read quotes, but I can quote quotes.
There you go. It's all in the head, man.
That is on the head.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm up there with you. I think that Luke took refuge in this place, and I think he just might have worn out his welcome. And when you like in real life, when you have a friend who's down on his luck, maybe sometimes you take them into your house for a little while, like get him back on his feet. But maybe you just stayed there 10, 20 years too long.
I just had to
Get out, go get a job, man. Go.
Do something with your life. Shave the beard. Get a job.
Exactly.
no keep the beard.
Yeah, the beard. So when I met Mark Hamill, he had the beard, which I was like, yes, because I saw videos of him shaving the beard. Because right after Force Awakens, he finally got to shave his beard after like 15 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I hope it's not a shaved Mark Hamill. And it was not a shaved Mark Hamill. I was like, yes! I get old man Luke.
But old man Luke, that sounds like a comic book right
That's
there.
right.
Make
You
that-
heard it here
make
first.
that
That's
happen.
old man
Man
Luke, and the vein of old man Logan.
Yeah.
Only with a crotchety old lightsaber.
Yeah. No, but talking about Luke just kind of crashing the religious order on the island, it might be because I was rearranging my VHSs the other
That's
day.
right, you were,
Yeah, and I was reorganizing them, and I saw my copy of Ace Ventura When Nature Calls, and now I'm imagining Luke in the Ace role where he's like at the monastery, and they really want him to leave.
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't gained enlightenment yet. Oh, it just happened.
This takes hundreds of years.
Yeah, just like take my medal. This took you 80 years to achieve.
I don't
Okay,
like it.
I don't like it anymore.
I love that scene. That to me, and I love the second movie, When Nature Calls. That to me is the first one is the best, but the second one was a close contender for me. But yes, I think that's right. I think they're trying to get him off the. It's like, oh look, a spaceship, go over there.
You see, I like the issue you brought up in the notes. Sister Act in space.
Sister Act in space. Yeah.
Just when I read that, I had the image of them singing and like loading his spaceship up with all. Here's some sandwiches for the road.
With,
Here to pack your clothes.
What's that style of singing called? When the nuns do like in the Sister Act, it's like chorus.
Choral thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, there
They
we
do
go.
the same thing with all those like singing and like throwing his stuff on the Falcon. They pick him up by accident, throw him on the Falcon.
What's
Bye.
bad is like they pin a bus ticket to him, to his lapel, and push him up the ramp.
Yeah.
No, wait here.
It's like they're just walking up the ramp, he's about to say a final farewell, they're like popping champagne and partying. He's gone.
Yeah. What they've been really waiting for.
Or I get the scene from Hot Fuzz where he's being transferred to that teeny tiny little village on some being away on
Goofy.
yeah. And he's like, there's only one. What the team's gonna say about this is, congratulations on their
When you're
popping."
transferred. Yeah.
They wanted him gone. But at the end of the movie, they're like, we need you back, and I think that'll happen in Star Wars too. They're like, oh, we need Luke back now.
Yeah.
It's gone down. We need a Jedi.
The reel it back in, it's also the issue of since he's there, he could bring in more outside. And obviously he did. Who comes looking for him? Someone was eventually going to.
Yeah, but how long has it been though?
I don't know how long live these creatures.
I have no idea.
Be very minor.
Well, no, I was like, how long has he been on the island? Like, from the time that Kylo turns to him leaving and finding
Was
Hawk
it
2.
5 years?
No, it was. I think it was a lot earlier than that. But I think he's been on the island for a long time, at least probably 10 years.
Yeah.
But, that's my understanding of it anyway. Now, if I'm wrong, comment below and tell me how I'm wrong.
Definitely correct us.
We're open to criticism. No one criticizes because no one watches.
Porgs in space.
Porgs in space, though. That is the thing.
Hey, did you say porgs? I love porgs. Porg burgers, porgs on a stick, pork chops, canned pork, porks and beans, fried pork, cold pork.
Just about any way you can cook pork.
Porg's good. Ask Chewie. He took one on the Falcon. It's a snack.
We saw that photo as like, is this like, all you gotta do is sit here and wait for a moment, it won't hurt, just look into the little light.
I think of I have a child. I've seen him 1 in 10 million times. I think of Maui grabbing Hey and going, boat snack. Same scenario here, just with a pork.
I could just see the nuns. The real reason you're leaving is for some reason we have a drastic drop off of pork
Porgs.
population.
You gotta eat something.
You're an environmental disaster.
That's right. Speaking of environmental disasters, guys, we are actually going to have to wrap this show up. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the show and my stumbling around quotes. Can't do it to save my life. That's why we have the radio personality himself, James, at the other end of the table. Another show was a little weird, a little wonky, and that sort of happens. But I do want to close it out by saying thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being here and going through this journey with us. Hit that subscribe button right there in the middle. Check out 2 weeks ago's show. Check out last week's show here. Down the far, we've got James Armstrong. Smack dab in the middle, of course, we got Sean Sharp. I am James Warrington. This is Dragon's Lair, and we see you guys next time. Take care.